Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nope, that was a bad adjustment. That's better. Get this microphone in the right spot. It's Monday night, guys. It's Monday night. You know what that means. Toronto Beer Podcast. Toronto Beer Podcast with me on YouTube. You're out of focus, host. Hi, bring it in here. There we go. That's better. And yeah, looking good on Instagram. Looking okay on YouTube. Feeling pretty good. And if you're listening to me in your ear holes via your podcast player of preference, hey, glad to be there. Glad to be there. Glad to be here. Glad to be anywhere right now, aren't we? Gosh, this pandemic, eh? Had a day. Often that's the case on Monday. Monday is a day, and I had it. Did you get your census form in the mail today? Yeah, of course you did, because literally every effing house in Canada got it today. Not an easy day for your mail carrier. If you see your mail carrier tomorrow, maybe give them a cookie or some other tasty confection. We could use it. It's a tough day. So, and yeah, let's support democracy and fill those census forms out and make your mail carrier's efforts not in vain. That'd be nice. Look at that PSA off the top. We haven't even opened a beer yet. Oh, I got to back off of this political nonsense and drink some beer. And guys, if you've been watching the socials, it will not surprise you to learn what it is I'm drinking tonight. But I am deeply excited. For one, this is a 250 ml bottle. Look at that. Can you see that label? There is some stuff printed on it, but it's a stealth bomber. This is a stealth bomber bottle. This is, I'm going to go with Kaede. I don't know how to pronounce it in Japanese, but it is from Godspeed, and it is pretty exciting. This is a 10% still, not carbonated, barrel-aged beer with maple syrup. That's all I know about it. I don't know too much else. I'm expecting it's going to be maple syrupy. That's all I got. We're going to drink that. I'm going to open it right now. And then I got a little extra, little something extra for the kids at home. Hopefully you know what's coming. We'll see. But let's deal with this beer first. Very attractive. It's got a neck sticker on it too, covering the the lid. That was very durable sticker. The whole thing came right off. Use that to tie some flies, maybe. Sort of a holographic looking little label. Anyway, I don't know if you noticed that sound. Of course, that was the sound of a bottle that is not carbonated being opened. I have brought out a wine glass. I thought wine glass is probably the direction we needed to go with this beer. This is basically like beer. This is like a wheat wine. So I don't think it has wheat in it. Barley wine. We'll call it a barley wine. It's not. I don't know what Godspeed's calling it. They're calling it this. So here we go. Obviously, no head. This will pour no head at all whatsoever because it's not carbonated. It's still like wine. And there we go. Oh my gosh, the smell. Pardon me, I ate a tortilla chip, a nacho, just before I started. That could also give you a little hint for what's coming down the pipe. So what have we got here? I know on your camera it looks black. It is very, very dark brown. Oh, it's black. It's a brown black. When you look at the edges are very dark brown, and it is black through the middle. No head, as discussed. It is a still beer, not a carbonated beer. You with me? I don't want to beat this point to death, but I don't want people to be surprised if they buy one of these and go, this isn't fizzy. It's not supposed to be. Anyway, already I've got tons of molasses and maple syrup and malts aroma. I haven't even stuck my face near it. I'm just being inundated with sweet dates. Definitely dates and figs. Yeah. Okay, now I'm actually going to put my nose in it and see what we see. Woo! Ho, 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 boy. Do I really have to do a podcast, or can I just take this glass of beer someplace and make sweet love to it with my face? Because that's what I want to do. Yeah. As I said, everything I just listed, dark, jammy fruits, big time. Fig Newtons. Oh, there's an astringency to it that almost touches on some sort of like a medicinally liqueur, but mostly, yeah, dates and figs and currants, prune, every dark dried fruit you can think of. Maple syrup, without a doubt. A nice woody quality. Let's have a sip, see what we see. Hmm. Mm. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Super sweet. Like thick, syrupy sweet. It's maple syrup. It's amazing. It's maple syrup with Fig Newtons, a bit of a barrely character. And I mean, it does. It tastes like an old ale. There's a really chewy, robust, malty quality. I know there's probably hops in there. I'm not getting much in the way of hop character, but just so much dark dried fruit, maple syrup, bit of a barrel-y kind of thing, bit of an oaky quality. The weight on the tongue is very dense, very heavy bodied. It's not syrupy quite, but I think most people would say that's entertaining the syrupy category, and it has unfermented maple syrup in it, so that makes sense. Uh, like I said, I saw this on social media. I don't know a whole ton about it. I might look it up in a minute. I know it was brewed and barrel aged for a long time, and then racked, and then maple syrup was added. Oh man, the maple syrup is kind of coming through all of a sudden on my palate. Yeah, it's crazy. It's very syrupy sweet, but the flavors that hit you right away are the dried fruits, jammy, dark dried fruit. And the maple syrup just lingers. So the finish is this slow, very sweet maple syrupy finish. It's that's something. I'll tell you that for free. I'll also tell you it ain't free. 250 ml bottle is going to set you back $10, but it's worth every dollar, I promise you. Not as boozy as you might expect it, especially given that it's still. Still beers like this with high alcohol can often really have a big warming effect, hit you in the nose and the back of the throat. I'm not really getting too much boozy qualities. I mean, given how jammy it is, you can kind of tell that it's a bigger beer, but it doesn't have any alcoholic heat at all. It's very smooth. Mm. I will tell you, this is a hangover in a can, or a bottle in this case. All that unfermented sugar. Don't have one of these after a night of other things. This is a nice beer. Have it on its own. We're going to talk in a second about what you're going to eat with it. It's going to be challenging, but just treat it like a nice little special moment. Doesn't need to be part of a big night. This is a one-off thing. This is a really beautiful beer. So what are you going to eat with this? Well, I mean, it's maple syrupy and dark jammy fruit. You know what that means? It means dessert, guys. I mean, this is almost like a maple sticky toffee pudding in a glass. Oh, it is so sweet. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's like candy. So, on the one hand, you could totally do a sticky toffee pudding, perhaps with some maple syrup in with the brown sugar and the sauce, and they would be two peas in a pod. They would play really, really well together. It would go really well. The flip is, what if you wanted to do something completely different? And in that case, Honestly, I'm not going to get super pretentious and say do like a chocolate tasting of multiple different sources, but get a couple of squares of really nice, like 70 to 80% cocoa dark chocolate, not sweet, bitter, but a little fruity, nice cocoa character, because that's going to set off of the sweetness of the beer, right? They're going to play with each other. Just replicating everything in the glass is going to work, and it'll work well with the sticky toffee pudding. But I always like to try and like try out new things. And I think a really nicely dry, bitter chocolate with this very sweet, jammy, mapley beer, those, I mean, this isn't rocket science, guys, but that would work really well. I'm gonna have another sip. Yeah, just like a still barley wine or old ale, tons of dark jammy fruits, like massive amounts of dark jammy fruit, and then a huge boost of maple syrup, which I love. I went through a period, I don't really do it so much anymore, but every time I would buy like a 2-liter jug of maple syrup down at St. Lawrence Market, and I would open it up, I would crack open the lid, and I would just take a swig of the straight maple syrup, because to quote my friend Fearless Fred, maple is my staple. I do love a good bit of maple syrup. And this beer is thick with it. Now, we do have a slight problem. I'll tell you what it is in a second. Yeah, that beer is really, it drinks more like a liqueur almost. Even 250 ml in this wine glass, this is going to take me all night now. It's a real slow sipper, really nice stuff. Now, here is the problem. Not only did I pick up one of these bottles on, was that Sunday? I think it was Sunday. Picked up some food, a couple of curry pans. That was good. The chikizuni, I think is what it's called. Anyway, the braised Japanese root vegetable dish. My wife had that for dinner. Real nice. Cold, like pickles, quite good. I had a couple of pieces with my dinner too. I liked it. Anyway, I also picked up this, which if you're listening to the podcast and not watching the video, is Godspeed Hot Sauce. I haven't even opened this yet. Still got the factory seal on the lid. Godspeed Hot Sauce from Yamanaka-san. Ryusuke has produced this. But here's the problem. That's just not going to be a natural pairing. So I have a solution. I brought a bowl of nachos. That was what I'd eaten before and started choking on when I hadn't fully cleared all the little crumbly bits in my mouth. I'm going to eat just a plain nacho. Delicious. These, if you're wondering, PC brand. What do I call it? The stone ground one. Really good nachos. I'm going to eat another one just to make sure. Oh, that's good. Love a good nacho. But I really want to have another sip of beer, but I can't. We got to do this. We're going to open this bottle too. It will have a less dramatic sound. Ready? That was it. Sounded like a really weak knuckle crack. So, if you're not watching the sauce, what would we call that? Brownish red. It's a brownish red hot sauce. Smells a lot like chilies and garlic. It smells actually a lot like sriracha, if I'm honest with you. Like a really nice sriracha. Okay. Let's do it straight on the back of the hand. Hopefully Ryusuke hasn't made a fireball that's going to burn a spot on the back of my hand. Very viscous. I don't know if you can see that on the cameras. Really stands up. It's quite dense. Yeah, very sriracha smell. Not sriracha at all. Vinegary. Nice chili pepper taste. Really nice taste. I want a bit more of that. Something else going on in there. Something fruity, maybe? That might be the chilies, though. I wonder if he's put some yuzu in there. I know they have yuzu around the brewery a lot. There's something fruity. I wouldn't have necessarily thought citrusy, but maybe a little citrusy. Very good, though. Yeah, there's something bright in there. Something fruity. I bet it's yuzu or like another Japanese citrus. Definitely garlic. And there's some spices. I can't quite unpack the spices. There's pepper in it for sure. Not sure what else. I'm going to put a bit on a chip now that I've kind of had a blank canvas taste of it. Oh, it might be plum. It might not be citrus. It might be plum. Yeah. No, it's more like some sort of stewed tree fruit, like plum or not apricot, more like plum. I don't know my Japanese fruits as well as I ought to, but a nice, stewed sweet fruit taste, garlic, chilies. As I say, some sort of spices I can't quite nail down. It was really good. Not super hot either. It's definitely hot sauce. It's spicy, but fairly tame, all things told. Quite tart and quite sweet. You know, it eats like a very spicy plum sauce. That's how I would describe it. Little looser. Plum sauces are a little more, little thicker than this. This isn't like Tabasco. It's quite a bit thicker than a Tabasco, but it's not quite plum sauce thickness. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. Now I want to ask Ryusuke what's in there, but I wouldn't be surprised. There's some sort of stewed fruit, I think, or maybe that's the chilies, and he's using some variety of chili that has a really, fruity taste to it. But otherwise, yeah, nice heat. In terms of hot sauces, it's like medium, but on the lower side. Remembering that the upper end is getting into like pepper spray levels of spice. This is spicy. I think to most Western palates, it would definitely be a fairly spicy hot sauce. It's not unmanageable. I mean, I'm about to have another chip with a generous teaspoon or so poured onto it. No worries there. Heck, I'm going to have two. Because I can. Well, that was a very generous pour. Bit of an oniony character there, too. Maybe shallots, actually. Gosh, that's good. Yeah, that was a really good hot sauce. Very different than what I'm used to. That fruity quality. Really nice. Really nice. I'm going to put the lid back on there. I think that's enough hot sauce for one night. Really tasty. Oh dear. I just choked on a chip piece. I need to eat a chip to help the process. And then swallow. There we go. Cool. That would be very good with if you like dipping your spring rolls or egg rolls or something like that into something a little spicier. Like sometimes I'll take plum sauce and mix it with sriracha. That's like this, but this is better. This would also be really good on fish. Chicken, probably, if that's what you get down to. Oh, I bet if you eat karage, the Japanese style fried chicken, if you put this on that, that would be like Nashville hot chicken, but it would be like Osaka hot chicken. I don't know how you say that in Japanese, but that's what it would be like. Really good hot sauce. Tasty stuff. I think there was one bottle left after I bought this one. So if it hasn't been bought yet, you can get it. And if they're out, tell them to make more because that's really tasty. And package it for sale exactly like this. That is quite nice. Now, because I don't want to leave any stone unturned, I'm going to try a little bit more of the beer now. I'm not hopeful that it will be a natural pairing. I also just really want some of the beer, but it's so sweet. I'm actually a little apprehensive. It's a very sweet beer. Here we go. Well, that's interesting. That worked a lot better than I was expecting it to. Funny enough, a lot of the initial onslaught of sweetness is actually kind of dampened by the spiciness in my mouth. Unexpected. I don't think anything in the hot sauce particularly. Actually, that's not true. Because that plummy kind of quality obviously goes really well with those dark fruits. Maybe that's part of the deal. Certainly spicy and that level of sweet aren't necessarily what I'm looking for. But it certainly isn't bad together. And I like the beer so much, I'm just going to keep drinking it anyway. Such a lovely, dessert, sweet. Oh, and so maple syrupy. I'm just such a sucker for maple syrup. I just love maple syrup. I might love maple syrup more than almost any other ingredient. I don't use it that much. It's very expensive. We actually dump tons of it on our pancakes every weekend, especially our pestilential children who use it as if they think it's like Butterworth. But man, I like maple syrup. And this beer does a really good job. It's not just maple syrup. There's a lot of other things going on, but the maple syrup is very clear in the mix. It's very evident. One of the problems with maple syrup in brewing, it's like honey. It's like 100% fermentable. So if you put it in early in the process, the yeast will just eat it all. There will be virtually no maple syrup flavor left. It's a bit of a misconception. Same with honey beers. People are like, oh, I put like 2 kilos of honey in it. And it's like, yeah, but you put it in before the yeast got to work, and the yeast will eat all of that. It's completely digestible by yeast. You need things like lactose, which are not digestible by yeast. That stuff sticks around. Most maple beers actually use a maple extract, not artificial, it's real, but they've used a distillation process to pull out the flavoring components, but leave the sugar behind. So then they can put those flavoring components in the beer and they don't get fermented out. So little hot tip for you. If you've ever had a really mapley beer, like a particular brewery that I love, to the Moon and Back's butter tart beer that has maple in it. Not saying who, but that was an extract. That wasn't actual maple syrup because, as I just said, actual maple syrup just gets fermented out. Can't control it. This is a little different. I'm assuming this beer, the yeast in it was long dead from its aging. When they back added in maple syrup at the end, there wouldn't have been any active bacteria in there left to go to work on it. So that maple syrup just stayed in suspension and made it very dense and sweet. Quite good. Delicious stuff. Hey, I'm going to wrap this up, but I got something to tell you about. I talked about it last week when we were chatting to Mandy, which, oh, come on. Didn't that just make everybody's day, week, month? I don't know. It sure made me feel pretty happy. It was so good getting back on the horn with Mandy. It works well. We chat. We did podcasts together a bunch of times, so it makes sense, but it was really good to have her back. Really, really miss getting to hang out with Mandy as often as I would like. Between COVID and just changing job realities, it's been a bit harder, but really good to catch up with her. By the way, got myself some 300 seltzers. Personal opinion, both very good. I think it's tangerine grapefruit and lemon lime. Lemon lime was good. It was good. I liked it. It's fine, tasty, good seltzer. But that tangerine grapefruit one, that's something special. I really enjoyed that. So we're going to finish those out this week. Sorry, for a beer that's not carbonated, I'm really burping a lot here. I think that has more to do with the hot sauce. I'm a bit of an old man. Fingers crossed, that's what I was doing if you were watching the camera, that 300 gets sold out soon, and then Mark lets Mandy sell the new one. That'll be something. That'll be nice. So anyway, as I was saying, tease this out with Mandy last week, but just to confirm, doing a lager tasting with Sawdust City and Brew Culture, their supplier, one of their suppliers, who incidentally supplied the ingredients for these 4 lager beers. Now, I was looking earlier today. I'm doing this from memory, but I think I got it. They've got the Gravenhurst Steam, which is a California common or a steam beer. Very excited about that. Haven't had a good steam beer in a while. The one that most people wouldn't know is Anchor Steam out of San Francisco. And there are others around, but that would be the benchmark for that style. So we got the Gravenhurst Steam. We've got Soft-Bodied Pils, which has a picture of a guy wearing, oh wait, that might be the other one. Sandals with socks. Anyway, the point is it's a play on like the fact that we're all getting a bit bigger and softer bodied as we get older, aren't we? So nice call there. Dave's Affordable. I think it's Dave, or it might be Dan or Doug. It's a D name anyway. Some guy whose name starts with D's. Affordable Dortmunder, DAD. As mentioned last week, like Dab, my personal favorite cold yellow beer, Macro. It's not Macro. It is. It's a huge company, but it's a German cold yellow European lager. It's a Dortmunder. Really nice. And Sawdust has interpreted that as DAD. So I'm really stoked for that. And then I can't remember the name of it, but they also have a Bock beer, which this time of year is just magnificent. It's just what you want on a sort of cool patio, or what they would call a beer garden, of course, in Germany. So those are going to be the 4. You want to get your hands on those, jump on Sawdust's web store. You can get the 4-pack, have it sent out. The date of the tasting is May the 20th. Don't know if I mentioned that. I know I did say that last week, but if I haven't yet tonight, that's when it is. And that is the Thursday before the May long weekend. Victoria Day, the 24th, actually lands on the long weekend this year. It's a Victoria Day miracle. But here's the hot tip. Order in a significant amount of beer for the weekend from Sawdust and include 1 or 2 or 3 or however many of those sample packs you want of the 4 lagers. And, share one with a friend, share one with a loved one, share one with someone you don't like, but you want them to like good beer. Who knows? Maybe you can find some common ground. And then join us Thursday, the 20th at, oh gosh, it's going to be on social, so look it up. I think we said 7:30, might have been 7. And I'm going to be playing host / moderator / occasional witty or an interesting historical insight guy. Sam is going to be talking about the actual brewing of the different beers and the types that they are. And Dan from Brew Culture will be talking about the ingredients used in them. And that will be something pretty cool. It's going to be a fun time. You don't have to have the 4-pack to participate, but if you have it, you can drink it along with us. I think we're going to be throwing out some food pairing ideas if you want to get real fancy. And otherwise, if you want to just come sit in and listen to us talk, I can promise you Sam on a live stream is always going to be good value no matter what he's doing. So for no other reason, I would tune in just for that. The fact that I'm going to be there and Dan too, like, hey, how can you miss? So look that up. Let me get the exact address here for Sawdust. What can you miss? So look that up. Let me get the exact address here for Sawdust. What are we doing? Sawdust is Sawdust City Brewing.com. You can go to store.sawdustcitybrewing.com. And the lager series, it's right there. It's the top thing. Made in partnership with Brew Culture, 4 unique lagers that are released in spring 2021. They are out, and you can get them. Yes, we've got soft-bodied Pils. Oh, yeah, it's a Know What Really Gets My Goat Bock beer. That's the name Bock beer. Dave's Affordable Dortmunder, that's the dad. And as I said, Gravenhurst Steam, the California Common. It is going to be fantastic. So look them up, order some beers from them. Check out Godspeed. I know for a fact this stealth bomber is still in stock at Godspeed. Like I said, bit of stick shock, $10 a bottle at a 250 ml bottle. I would say worth every penny. I'm still enjoying it. Oh, that's good. Ask about the hot sauce. It might be gone. But if it's not, get that last bottle. You won't regret it. I know Yamanaka-san also had some ponzu sauce that he'd made. And I think there was another one too, different sauce. Far and away, some of the best food at a brewery in the city is at Godspeed. Any opportunity you can to buy any of the secret sauces that they use to make things taste awesome, I would just do it. Even if you're not 100% sure how you're going to use it, you'll figure something out. You won't be sorry. And this hot sauce is real nice hot sauce. So I would get that into you as soon as you can. Other than that, next Monday, I got nothing right now. It's a whole 7 days away. We'll figure something out. Trying to think. I'm not going anywhere. So, well, we'll see. Been meaning to get Ginger into Black Lab Brewing. Might not happen this week, but it might. And if it does, I bet you can guess what we're going to drink next week. Probably won't be Great Lakes. Otherwise, if you want to see something, if you got something you think I should try, hit me up. You know where to find me. Not hard to find. I'm on Instagram. Some people are watching. Hit me up on YouTube. Hit me up on the socials, however you like. And let me know what you think. And yeah, had the interview with Mandy last week. Thought about maybe doing something tonight, but I thought, no, I just want to keep it simple. But maybe next week, who knows? I'm wide open, guys. It's a pandemic. Who knows? By the way, had my vaccination last week. I think I mentioned that on the show. AstraZeneca had it on Tuesday. It ruined me. I will not hesitate to say it knocked me absolutely flat. It was like the worst flu I'd had in a long time. There were points in the middle of the night when I thought, this is almost as bad as when I had dengue fever. It wasn't, but it was in the same ballpark, which is saying something. I was talking with my physio tonight, and she was asking me, I said, you know what? If I hadn't had a vaccine, if I'd just woken up feeling that bad, I might have called an ambulance. Like, it was that bad. I was real sick, like real sick. That is not to say don't get it done or to dissuade you. In fact, it's a good indication that my immune system really kicked into full gear to deal with the threat. And fingers crossed, that means if I'm exposed to the virus, my immune system will once again roar into action. But I will warn you, plan on maybe having a quiet day the next day, possibly in bed, because that's what I did. I listened to Bomber Mafia, the new Malcolm Gladwell audiobook, and dozed on and off and didn't do much else at all because I was completely floored. But by the next day, by the Thursday, as good as new. So I would highly recommend anybody who is eligible, sign up, get it done. The shot itself was nothing, barely felt a thing. And yeah, less than 24 hours later, I was back to full steam ahead. So I would say get that done. Not a whole lot else to say. We're still in lockdown. Stay home. Most people aren't. Don't be one of those people. Yeah, take care of yourself. Take care of the people you love. As I always say, give somebody a call, check in, see how they're doing. And other than that, I will talk at you in, 7 days, give or take half an hour. Have a good night, guys. Bye.